Now we're back in order. We're at public comment. Do we have people that have signed up to speak? And if anybody else wants to sign up to speak, the sign-in sheets are in the back.
We have 6 cards today, and 2 of them are for non-agenda items, and the other 3 are specific to the dog park, and we'd like to hold those folks for the agenda item and let them talk in. They wanted a little more time than the 5 minutes, and they wanted to make some comments about our work plan and improvements and other things, so if it's okay with Chair, I'll let them wait until we do the agenda item.
We can wait till the agenda item. I don't know if we'll allow a lot of extra time, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We would prefer not to
Excuse
wait for
me.
your agenda item.
It's all the way at the end. We have dinners to make, children to pick up.
Well, one of the supervisors had already requested that we move that agenda item up, so we'll deal with the roundabout, and then the dog park will, with the
Okay.
board's
Okay, thank
approval,
you.
will be second.
Thank you.
And Helen Cotner, Ashbrook Court.
Thank you. I'd like to address my question to Madam Chairman, as we discussed just a few moments ago. It's my understanding that you were kicking around a $960,000 figure regarding the 2 roundabouts and the responsibility of the Gateway CDD related to the underground utilities for those 2. Is that correct?
We're gonna have to relocate some utilities. Lee County's requiring that.
I've been asked by others, are they water drains, or it doesn't make any difference, does it? It's just you have to do that?
It's actually the utilities themselves, the potable water and the irrigation lines and sanitary force mains.
Okay, and then that will again apply to the roundabout that will be outside of the school on Griffith.
We haven't gotten that information yet, but there's a strong likelihood that yes, that would be true.
Okay, is Griffin in line to be widened?
I do not believe so.
Oh golly,
No, it's not in our plan.
okay.
Hearing directly from DOT.
From the source, it'll be tight. Okay, my next concern is regarding the holiday event that you're planning for. And I did a little calculating here. It appears to me you're going to be experiencing a cost of over $26,000. And your approximate attendance is 1,200 people. That comes out to $22 per person, and I'm wondering if that is money well spent. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark Allison for Gateway Soccer. Is up next?
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
I want to take the opportunity for this board meeting to introduce myself to the new board members who don't know who I am. I'm Mark Allison, who runs the Gateway Soccer Association over at the fields of yours. Taking the opportunity to discuss a few items that we've been dealing with as a league, and then also to take the opportunity to bring to the board's attention the feedback that we're getting from the parents regarding the improvements that have been made to the fields, and how much work that the operations team has done in getting that the fields back into a condition that we've been trying to achieve for several years now. And also to bring to the board's attention that we're aware of the challenges that we've had over the first few weeks of the season between ourselves and flag football with regard to trash and the removal of it, and letting you all aware that between Gateway Soccer, flag football, and Chris of the operations team, that we've done everything we can to start making improvements there, and hopefully we've found a way and a system that will eliminate any remaining trash at the fields that has been a concern for Chris and the district and the board. So it's really just an opportunity to bring you up to speed, to let you know that we, the leagues, speaking on behalf of flag football as well, are doing what we can to eliminate problems that we've had and trying to get to an overall resolution.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we did have one more, Flavia Walsh.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here and I wanted to kind of touch bases in 3 topics today. One will be the wetland, one will be the ponds, just an update, and also mitigation updates and permit modification updates. Back in late 2018 or early 2019, I think I'll share an email with Chris Shoemaker about the public hearing notice to allow the school to fill about 11 acres or so of wetland on their property. One of his concerns was about the impacts that the smaller parcel of wetland located at Magnolia Lake side would suffer if the school was able to get approval to fill. He shared the concern with Tony as well. Sometime in June, I followed up with Chris, and at that time, no permit application was submitted by the school, and he stated that he was monitoring the progress. Again, nothing came of that, and I'm not aware that the district formally requested to be included on the school's permit modification. Back to December 2018, Johnson Engineer reached out to the CDD asking for feedback on the school plans. They wanted to review any potential conflicts, and they wanted to resolve any potential issues. A few months back, we had a meeting with Southwest Florida Management District about the possibility of lowering the control structure and mitigating the wetland that was not included on the school permit modification, and maybe also try to lift the conservation easement. At that meeting, we had our district manager, our engineer, and a few representatives of the HOA from Magnolia Lakes, myself included. It was made very clear to all of us that the school did not add the wetland under the request to fill. It was noted that they would have a secondary impact, but they did not at any point had permission to destroy the wetland. And I'm gonna quote an email that came from Matt with Southwest Florida Management District. And this just came up a few weeks ago. The school fully mitigated their own wetland impacts plus secondary impacts to Magnolia Lake. They were not authorized to do any construction past the property line. So that's period. Again, the contractors from the school not only trespass on CDD property, they destroy federally protected wetland, and also the district in September of 2018 took that wetland and ensured that prior to taking over, that Beezer and the HOA brought that wetland to pristine condition. So not even a year ago. So while the residents of Magnolia Lakes are thankful for the many things that the board has done in regards to the ponds, this issue and this huge miscommunication between either the board, staff, and the government agencies needs to be addressed. I'm open for any questions before I touch on other 2 subjects.
Any questions for Flavia?
No, other than the fact that I thought that we had an understanding with Johnson Engineering and the school that wetland was going to be included in the mitigation. In fact, I'm positive I heard that. that it was gonna be included in the mitigation to be eliminated since we didn't end up with a half-acre wetland and that controlling our pond elevation in '83. So it sounds like somebody dropped the ball with Johnson Engineering, again, again.
Well, and I think we need to look at, with what's happening in Magnolia Lakes, to somehow communicate and get involved with some of their resolutions. And if we've got any leverage, I think we need to use it. I mean, I was just at the school board today, and I talked with the director of operations a couple weeks ago, and she assured me that she was aware of the situation and that they would work with Magnolia Lakes and the district and the parties involved. And I haven't heard anything, and Bobby, I don't think you've heard anything back from them with your correspondence.
No, we have not, and we have reached out multiple times. I can tell you that not only they did this to the wetland, they trespassed in that wetland, they also did this to a few of the residents and their property. And I was just made aware of this morning that the school, again, trespassed on private property and put bahia down instead of Floritan, in all of that berm area, which originally had Floritan. And also they did not fix the slope because they went in with heavy machines, so they just threw bahia, no irrigation, no nothing. When I went back there with the homeowner to take pictures, here I see the water truck watering from the school side, through the fence, through the mesh, the bahia installed on Magnolia Lake side.
And my fear is, we have a community that, I think for the most part, has been pretty forgiving and even accepting of the school going up, and I think it has the community as a whole. The last thing we want is to have some issues come up to poke the bear over in Magnolia Lakes, because if there's an issue there, who's gonna hear about it first, right? It's gonna be this board, and we're gonna have to get involved. So if we can be proactive and see if we can engage the district, the school board on whatever the issues that Magnolia Lakes currently has, whether it's encroachment on the property, or I think what was originally addressed a couple meetings ago is the need for some type of buffer in between the school and the community. And again, when I talked to the director of operations, she said they were aware, they had not budgeted anything, but it is something that they were considering, looking at options. So if they're gonna say that they're looking at it and they're aware, they should at least respond back to the interested parties. And I think maybe we can have Chris reach out and just maybe form some line of communication, because we're gonna get more of the noise. And I think it's the right thing for us to do, to use our position to help Magnolia Lakes.
Bruce, do you have any understanding why Johnson did not include the entire wetland in the permit
Well, the
application?
wetland through the secondary impact is not a factor anymore. They knew it was going away, the Water Management District knows it's going away. So that's not an issue. What the issue is the conservation easement over that property, and whether we can just fill it and put sod back there, or whether we'll have to maintain it as an upland buffer. We have a meeting set up with the Water Management District, so the wetland portion of it is not a consideration in the discussion. It's what's going to happen after that. And typically, it's not a hard thing to get that conservation easement removed. With the current governing board, it will have to go to them, and they are reluctant in some cases due to the small size. It won't be an issue. What we'd like to do is basically just fill it, turf it, and maybe turn it over to the HOA or surplus it. But they may require us to, if they don't lift that conservation easement, we just have to plant upland species in there and maintain it as a buffer.
And that's what I wanna make sure that this board does not do. Why should the CED spend any money in fixing an issue that was made and presented by the school and their contractors? We gave, not even a year ago, pristine, perfect condition, and now I'm gonna have to pay again to fix somebody else's mistake? No. This is the time for the CDD to hold the contractors and the school liable for what they did. And more stressful to me, it is that we are going by hearsay, she said, Johnson promised this and that. Well, let me tell you something, the first meeting I had with Johnson, they promised us a better fence and hedges. Mark Moore left, we didn't get that. We were promised 115 feet buffer between the properties, then it went to 100. Now it's 83, and in some areas 50. So it's getting smaller and smaller. They're pretty much soon gonna be in my garage. The district has the upper hand on this. The district should hold, including Southwest Florida Management District, the school accountable and have them fix that. That's the minimum that they can do. And I truly believe that the district is in the position to fight for Magnolia Lakes residents and say, well, let's go ahead and either do a hedge, either do a taller berm, something for us. Because we did not put up a fight because we were told that there would be a big enough buffer between the properties. And we're gonna be neighbors, hopefully for a long time. We wanna work this out.
Oh, thank you. Could our attorney address a letter to them? Would that be appropriate so that this could be worked out and negotiated?
Madam Chairman, what I was going to suggest, but you must have been reading my mind, that's a scary thought, but was that, I know we've had all these nice conversations and back and forth for months with the contractor and with the engineer and with the school board staff, but we have nothing concrete from them confirming what they will do, and we have a trespass, unless we gave them permission to go on or engage in that activity. I think it's important to put on the record to the school district and copy their engineer that the school district and through their contractor engage in activity without authorization on the district property, and that any cost associated, without deciding what that course of action will be, because this board hasn't decided yet, but that looking to the school board to pay for all costs and expenses and fees associated with whatever actions are taken, to either modify the permit, remedial action, remove the conservation easement, keep it there, install it, whatever is necessary. That would at least put the school district on notice that we'll be looking to that. I think that's important. They just have that record.
And do we have anything, whether it's just email communication or anything documented of what any of these conversations, whether it was, how do we, other than, is it just conversation probably that we got that information from Johnson Engineering?
In regards to what, specifically, what exactly are you asking me?
I'm sorry?
What exactly are you asking me?
Do we have anything in an email or anything that's physically documented that we could, attach to Tony's memo to say, this may not have been a formal contract, but there is intent that was communicated in these areas, whether it's, putting up a hedge or a vegetation buffer or the 150 feet of buffers, or anything that we might have that we could use?
Well, one of the meetings that took place here with Hampton Park and Magnolia Lakes, Chris, and so that's the meeting that they talked about the hedge. The other time that they promised the buffer was a presentation that they had at the CDD meeting, so I'm assuming there are minutes for that. Now, if you're gonna ask me about the conversation that Ed is aware of it, that they promised to do anything like that, I was completely out of it. I wouldn't know. You'd have to ask Ed.
So maybe we can have Ed, you can just
Look at the tapes.
Yeah.
Just ask
Or even
them.
just saying, hey, I was a witness to that meeting. This is what was.
First thing we gotta find is which meeting was, where Johnson was here. But I definitively remember asking the guy, because I didn't even wanna get stuck with a half acre. And he said, no, that was included in the proposal to take it all out. And they were going to pay for the mitigation there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
all costs.
Yeah. So, my point is, Tony, if you're putting this memo together, if there's any supporting
Back.
documentation of either intent or whatever to give us any leverage, I think we need to leverage that.
And Chris, if you have any emails along those lines, any assurances, if you could send them along. Great.
Okay, then my last question in regards to my pond.
You have 5 minutes.
Right. I just kind of wanted to go and follow up on an update on what we stand. I know the board had given direction to staff to go ahead with either applying for permits or getting Tetra Tech to engage in conversations to lower the control structure. And at that time, it was going to be in addition to the wetland, because we didn't know the school was going to destroy it. I am aware that it takes the process, once entered to the county, it takes about 8 weeks. The district was thinking about starting our pond in December. But if you haven't entered any applications, modifications, we're gonna be behind time.
And we've got, in the engineering, the district engineer will be coming up in staff reports. Can we wait for him to
I will
address
do that.
Thank
Thank you.
Anybody else, John?
No, that's it. The rest are just comments for dog park.
And, with the board's permission, I'll push back the staff reports and we'll go to action items, because we have people here specifically for those things. The first one is 3A, the roundabout, paving on Somerset Street.
Jim,
Yep.
I'll make a motion that on the Commerce Lakes Gateway Boulevard roundabout,
Did you guys have
that we transfer our ownership in Commerce Lakes Drive East to the county and not go the easement route. And that we will go with the county lighting on the roundabout. We'll go with the county landscaping on the roundabout, and we'll keep our own signpost upgrade as a part of the deal.
Can I make a request? Can we do 3 different motions so we get a chance to talk about the ones that there may not be completed?
Let me bring them all up, and then you go through, pick them out how you want to do it. Because I only have one more. And that we do a complete replacement of the storm sewers and the sanitary sewer, or the sanitary sewers, the reuse water, and the potable water, and the forest mains. Those things are 32, 33 years old, and wrapping those things with pipe is just gonna cost trouble. So just put in new ones and be done with it and get it over with. So however you wanna take those, but that's my motion.
So.
If you wanna put them
let's-
in
let's
A, B,
break-
C, D, motion 1 is to take Commerce Lakes Drive East.
And I guess for clarification would be to.
Give.
To deed Commerce
Deed.
Lakes Drive.
Deed Commerce Lakes Drive for the portion that we own, which is, I don't know what the 1,200 feet or what the number is, east over to the line of demarcation with the Property Owners Association.
And would our motion also include and to prepare an amendment to the landscape sign, drainage, utilities, and street lighting maintenance and hold harmless interlocal agreement?
For that part or for
Yes.
the main gateway?
For this part.
For this part.
Because we already have the agreement in place for the main part of it, right?
Just so you know, our attorney has drafted an addendum, so we prefer that you just review that, and we'll make changes as we work together on that. So we've done an addendum.
Well, I think, first of all, the board needs to, as part of this motion, it would be a necessary amendment or addendum to the agreement, and that's all we're doing right now, is getting the board, the motion
To
framed.
agree to it.
Motion framed so as to what action will take place.
This is totally rude. Come on.
Do the next thing that they said,
Yeah.
and move you up to the next one.
We needed to speak in the spot. We have somebody who was a speaker who's leaving to get her grandchild. We have another person who has to go to work. You know, we have something to say about the dog park. The dog park adds something to this homeowners in Gateway. They add a lot. And the way you treat the dog park, Chris, is really inappropriate.
Unacceptable.
We
Actually are going to address that next, and
Yeah.
I made that
Yeah,
clear
okay.
that we would be bringing it, moving it up to try and accommodate you, but that this item would come first.
We were
I'm sorry.
expecting to
told.
come in under agenda items, and that was at 4 o'clock.
Is it 4:30?
No, it was 4 o'clock.
It's 4:30.
4:30 says dog and soccer park.
No, look on the
We were
top.
under audience public comment.
We need to continue with what we've started, and if you wait, this probably won't take that long, and we'll hear all of your comments, but
Are you gonna take another 10-minute break?
Yeah, right.
No.
Because at other meetings, we didn't get a 10-minute
10-minute
break
break.
after an hour.
Madam Chairman, I would suggest not engaging in debate with the audience, that the board continue on, finish this item of business, and then we're spending more time on this matter. debating when it's gonna proceed. I think the board would take prompt action on this action. And that-
We
and
have a
again, all-
motion, do we have a
and-
second?
And all times are approximate in the agenda.
I'll second it for,
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
well, I'd like to know, how much it's gonna cost us to, transfer the deed of this property over to the county.
The cost would be my review of the, preparing the deed. Hopefully, they will not ask for a title commitment or title policy.
Hopefully it doesn't cut it.
No, and again, if they do, I'll come back to the board because that's not included in the motion.
So ballpark, what's the title cost?
Well,
If they go with the title.
title insurance, they have to get a value for it, and the premium is predicated on that. I would suggest that the motion include, explicit that the transfer at no expense or cost to the district, or any other costs, you know. That,
Will the banker accept that?
I like that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Second motion would be to go with the estimate that Tetra Tech had on the total replacement of the utility lines that are in that intersection, and the budgetary number was around $450,000. That's second item.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I think it's very high-handed on the part of the county to insist that we do that at this time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, one opposed. All right.
Next motion, can I do the streetlights and all that in one?
I'd
Lights and
prefer-
signs?
Okay,
I'd
just do
prefer-
streetlights.
yeah,
My
please.
motion is the streetlights be done with the county standards.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the street lighting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Landscaping be done in accordance with the county standard.
Second.
Okay, now is that gonna include the signage?
No, I'm going to do,
Okay, then
we'll keep
they'll
them
be
separate.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the landscaping being the county standard. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I oppose. Okay. Little one. One last one, I think.
The last one is that the street signs be compliant with our MUTCD requirements with the current gateway upgraded design standard.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second on the street signs. Any further discussion? I do think that on this particular item, my concern is how often we're gonna have to replace these expensive specialty signs.
We're just gonna start budgeting for
In
this.
this roundabout. So, I'm in favor of just going with the county standard on this also, just because of cost and the burden that they're gonna be responsible for repairs or replacement.
They're so ugly, it's unbelievable.
Well, then after
But
after our drivers have had a year or two or three of accidents running into them, then we can replace them on our standards.
The issue is that it's going to make, because you're only gonna do it there, odds are you're going to do it again when you get to the next intersection, and two of the highlights of Gateway are gonna look like crap. It's gonna look like downtown Lehigh.
I mean, look, if you're gonna have a standard, you have a standard.
You have a standard.
We wouldn't accept county lights or signs in Stony Brook, Pelican, you know, you wouldn't amend your standards, so, I mean, and we're making assumptions that there's gonna be an exorbitant amount of replacement. That's an assumption, we don't have data to support that.
I'm thinking of it from the perspective of how much it's gonna cost the residents and the fact that we just need to understand, these are county roads. They're not gateway roads anymore. We turned them over to the county, they're county roads. Most of the traffic isn't gateway residents
They're
anymore.
in Gateway though, that's.
So, it's just throwing that
Yeah,
out there
no.
for thought.
Understand?
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I oppose.
I'm opposed. What you got yourself?
passes 3-2 for the record.
We got our signs.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Cover everything, Dan?
Yep, you're good.
Thank
We'll
you.
be in contact with you for John Fedina.
Oh, good.
We've been down this road once or
Yes,
twice.
no pun intended.
I'll check with you on the break. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And with the board's permission, now we'll bring the dog park
Yes.
up, the 3G. And we had speakers.
We have 3 speakers and,
Now we have 2 speakers.
we have 2 speakers. And, I will say that I talked to the representatives and they said they wanted longer than 5 minutes and that's why we moved through the agenda instead of comments. We were gonna present our work plan with all the items.
Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Moliterno. Thank you for the opportunity to present our concerns about the dog park. Many might assume that a dog park is just a dog park. However, the dog park is an important community asset where neighbors from diverse communities meet and establish close friendships with a shared passion for our pets. As many of you know, the park has been the long red-headed stepchild and has been in disrepair for years. Fortunately, lately, the situation has changed for the better, thanks to our involved and concerned members and the assistance of Kathy Flaherty. Thank you very much, Kathy. Briefly, our issues revolve around the inconsistent communication and direction we constantly receive from Chris Shoemaker. I would be glad to share with you my back and forth emails where I asked about shade coverings in April. I was told that they were back ordered. I asked again in May. I was told they were still back ordered. I asked again the latter part of May, beginning of June, and I was told that they were in, but there was no personnel that could put these pergolas together. We even volunteered members of the dog park to help put them together. Then I get a purchase order dated August 15th for 1 pergola. What's going on? Why am I told April and now I see that you first ordered it in August and it's 1? Could you answer me, please?
If you wish to answer, go right ahead.
We've actually ordered a couple of them for the park, and what we were waiting on is it's taken about 2 months to get a contractor to do the concrete work and set the structures.
Oh. He made no mention of concrete work. That's another one of our issues. He comments that the dogs dig up the dirt. Dogs dig. I asked again in April and May if we could have concrete slabs placed where the benches would be placed so that we could sit comfortably and the dogs wouldn't dig. Again, emails back and forth, nothing. The shells that they put in the large dog park. I don't know if any of you have pets, but that is injurious to their paws. Whose idea was to put cut shells as a ground cover? It's ridiculous. There's better allocation of funds. The small dog park gets very little use. The dogs are now integrating. We have large dogs and little dogs together. I don't know what else to say other than the communication and what we've been promised is a bunch of baloney. We're taxpayers and we frequent this dog park. We like it and nothing's been done. We asked if we could buy bark, mulch, and put around the trees. And then Gateway would provide edging to keep it in around the trees. They put pine straw. No edging, pine straw's gone. Waste of money. We've painted the bulletin board ourselves. I bought a rake to rake the dirt. We've asked for dirt to be provided so we could cover up the holes that the dogs have dug. Chris mentioned that the dogs chewed on the irrigation wires or lines. That's not true. No dog ever chewed on the irrigation lines. If that was true, then you'd have water all over the place when you put your sprinklers on. Why are we getting this information that's backdoor information? He's not being honest with us. And we're taxpayers. We frequent the dog park. You make money off the dog park, and you could make more if the dog park was pristine, and it's not. That's all I have to say.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Dr. Lisa Petriccioni. I have been before you before, not for 2 years. I've lived in the Gateway District for 5 years. I built my house here because you have a dog park. I could have gone to Estero, I could have gone to, Bonita, they have nice dog parks. But I love this community. I drive down Gateway Boulevard and I say, oh, trees, it's almost as good as New Jersey. Except it's, like paradise, maybe 8 months out of the year. So here I am, I love this place, and I've looked at our dog park, which at times there's grass, at times there's not grass. At times the door works, you can get in and out of the gate, other times you can't. There's holes, there's flooding, we lose trees, we lose this, we lose that. We don't have seats, we buy our own seats. When the person before you was here, I think his name was Michael, I can't remember now, he promised grass that was gonna be sturdy on both sides, and he gave us a timeline, and it didn't happen. The grass that you have put in has worked out well. The only areas we don't have grass are where we were supposed to have poured concrete, where the benches, which you have added to the benches and we appreciate it, they were supposed to go on a poured concrete slab. Because we, the people who own the dogs, are sitting on those benches. The dogs want to be with us, so they go underneath the bench. And then that begins the wearing away of the grass. And then some of them are diggers, not all of them. My perfect standard poodle doesn't dig, but some of those other mutts, they dig. So we need those slabs. We have offered, over the course of the 5 years I've been going, we have offered to pay for sod. We've offered to pay for concrete being poured. We have one of our members who had to leave who offered, her and her husband were going to dig it and pour the concrete themselves. She has actually brought dirt and filled holes. We are the people, when you put the trees up after Irma, the saplings, we are the ones who maintained it. Your people who are supposed to be maintaining it tied them up, and they were outgrowing the ties it was digging in, and some of them were dying. We took them off and we fixed them. We are happy to be involved in the maintenance of the dog park. We are happy to pay more than we pay now for our annual fee. You could charge us double or triple. None of us would say no. But we want you to make it safe for our animals. It's not safe as it is. It wasn't safe for people before, but now it's safe for people, thank you. Now we don't fall into holes and stuff since we have grass. But we need you to get up those shells, because they're getting into between their paw pads, and there have been dogs who've gotten lacerated, who've gotten infections, one of the dogs actually required surgery. So please, listen to what we're saying to you, and no more pine needles, because they attract ticks.
Rodents.
Well, and ticks, but ticks is the big thing. And my dog had Rocky Mountain spotted fever since we've been here, and that's a tick-borne disease. And we have, unfortunately, all the other babesiosis or lichiosis, all of the other ones here in Southwest Florida now. So that's really what we're asking for. And one other thing, we people, this is only a handful. There's over 100 people who come with their dogs regularly. It's not uncommon during season to see 30 people and at least 30 dogs around 5 o'clock if you want to drive by and see us. and we're a good commercial for the community. We're very welcoming. and we follow rules. But the one rule we don't follow is the dogs being split between big and little. We use the little dog park for the dogs who can't get along with the big dogs or with each other. And, you know, we have no problems. If our dogs are fighting with each other like dogs will play fight, we're fine. So please also, Chris, don't yell at the man in the corner when he has his little dog on the big side. His little dog is like my favorite lap warmer. That's it, thank you.
And he did yell at you.
Did you pull out
I'm filling in for Dolly since she's not here. My name is Edmund Debs. I'm one of the members for the dog park. I've been in Gateway for at least 3 years. My dog Benjamin Buttons, he's been going there. He knows all these members. He knows all the dogs. He gets along with them. About this year, and I recall I got a call at work about how there was a dog attack, and it was concerning with my dog and my father. Now, I understand we get snowbirds. I understand they want to bring in their dogs to Gateway, but the dog park is only members only. Some of the peoples who are new doesn't affiliate or understand that it's not public, it's private. One of the person had 3 pit bulls.
That's what?
Had 3 pit bulls, pit bull dogs, and they brought it over. I have the video of it. And thanks to one of the members, Dolly, who's supposed to be here, that I actually left, she recorded the whole scene of the 3 pit bulls fighting with my dog, Benjamin. My father got involved, trying to stop those 3 pit bulls fighting. I'm concerned about the dog park. That's a family-oriented dog park. I care about the dog park. That is something where you have kids to play. I know you guys all have kids. I understand you guys love to bring your kids to the dog park to let them play. But what happens? For some reason, what happens? A dog that is not on record to this community starts biting a child. Or, for example, is a stranger to the dog and attacks that dog. What's gonna happen? Of course, there's gonna be lawsuit, there's gonna be a big problem, Gateway will get involved, etc. I am recommending, I wanna suggest to upgrade the security on the gate, if it's possible. As well, I had basically the dog park sign, that big pole, was, how should I say this, was abandoned. I took my time. I took my time to come in on a weekend to paint it, clean it, and make it nice for other people to enjoy the dog park. Trimming some trees on my own time to make it look nice and decent. Now, I don't know I don't know what's happening. And the grass needs to be maintained. Chris, I don't understand what's going on. My father used to be a pest control. And basically, grass needs to be maintained, fertilized, and watered.
Right.
What is going on?
And full of mosquitoes.
Yeah, exactly, thank you. And full of mosquitoes. You know, if these people, all these people right here cares about their dog park, including me, it needs to be maintained well and up to date. You even have people who jumps over the fence and breaks in the gate or tries to slide something to break the locks of the gates. Or lift it, which plenty of times the lock doesn't work or it's broken. What's gonna be done?
Yeah, well, I will say this, that I know that Bruce will be updating plans on what work is gonna be done at the dog park. as soon as you finish speaking, so you'll probably get answers to all of your questions when he's allowed to give his update.
Okay.
Would you ask him for his name again and
Edmund Debs.
I'm sorry?
Edmund, Edmond, last name is Debs, Debs.
Excuse me, may I just make also, my name is Lourdes Debs. How can we?
May want to have them sign up and speak and
Right.
address the microphone.
If you wanna speak, fill out one of the forms in the back, and I'll ask you to do the same thing, fill, and give it to him when you're done speaking.
Okay.
So that we have it for the record.
All right, Mr. Debs, I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Are you saying that we have people using the dog park that are not registered here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of these people right here, they have seen some people, they show up without their dogs being registered.
Your
How do they-
famous
how do they
soccer
get in?
people.
Because they look at Google and they see public.
No, I mean, I thought you had to have a card to get in.
You do.
They,
It's
you
easy
do,
to
but they
break.
either jump in, they jump over the fence
They
from
left the
the,
gate.
They left the gate.
That's what
They're
I
all-
would suggest is they ask members of the audience to not speak up unless they're signed up at the podium, because everything is on the record, and the over talk is not possible for the board to hear everybody's comments, so.
I just wanna make sure I get clear
Yes, sir.
what the real problems are. So certainly that was not the intent when we did that part years ago. You came in, you registered because there were medical, for vets that you had to have, showing that your dogs had vaccinations or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So that's certainly an issue. People getting in and having other people who are members opening the gate and letting other ones in.
No.
That's
They-
not happening.
No, they just, people who are not on the record for dog park, for the Gateway community, that are not members or their dogs are not registered, they will jump over the fence of the big dog park, then walk around to lift the gate and open it.
The other question is for staff. Chris, who's the staff person in charge of the dog park?
Glenn is, and he'll be up to make the presentation.
He's new. Who's been for the last year or so, who's been that
Yes.
dog park person?
I'm the only person that's been handling it, and Al, of course, has historically been working down there with Mainscape on the landscaping.
Okay, then the last question I had is, what is our dog park budget?
I've been here for 20 years. This year, in the capital side for improvements that we'll be detailing, the board included $35,000.
For capital or for, what's our operation and maintenance cost a year?
I'd have to look at the budget and see.
I was thinking it's around $7,500.
Yeah, it's not much.
Okay, and then the second thing is, how many registered users do we have at the dog park?
300.
We have 300 registered users?
Yes.
And what, it used to be paid 25?
Some pay 100, and we had suggested to
What?
Kathy,
Why would people pay different?
If you
amounts?
don't
because
live
they're
in
out of
Gateway.
Gateway, and they come,
They're what?
they're out of Gateway.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So when do we start allowing people out of Gateway to get registered to use Gateway facilities?
Remember, we
From the
used
beginning.
county.
Yeah, if I may, with regards,
Funds for what?
if we use county funds for improvement of
I
property.
understand that. When did we do that?
When it was built. We
I don't
used,
recall that.
we used impact fees
For the soccer complex and recreational facilities.
and for the dog park.
Okay, well,
And-
so,
and-
well,
and-
there's a way around
But
that.
one thing, the board
We have two
can,
different fees.
the board can adopt the right to differential,
Fees.
to have a higher rate. In fact, it can be a significantly higher rate for non-residents of Gateway, because.
It is.
Right.
It is higher.
Madam, Cindy,
Let the
I think
conversation.
if you were here for the discussion about decorum, I think it's important for the board
Okay.
to be able to hear y'all, and for us to be able to respond, to have the decorum also exercised by the audience. I think the residents pay their assessments, who pay for the operation and maintenance, and so that allows this board, which they have, they can increase it, to have a higher, significantly higher rate schedule for non-residents, for the mission. And again, if someone is not complying, is not a member, and usually arguably they are trespassing, and we can tell them to leave, If they don't, we can ask law enforcement to have them meet.
Right, what I think we need to do at this time is go ahead and let Chris and staff give the update that's actually on the agenda, and then we can ask any questions of them after.
Can I just clarify one thing that he said? As far as the people that are out of Gateway, they pay $100. They get a card and they register with Julie, same as everybody else, with shots for the dogs and whatever.
Okay.
I don't
What do
think
I
that's
pay?
a problem, and if the park is maintained, we don't mind paying extra, right now we pay 25. I don't mind paying 50, 75, and those out of Gateway will pay higher as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Chair.
We're gonna have staff give its update now, however you want to do it.
Glenn, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Hello, everybody. My name is Glenn Shorger. I am in Parks and Recreation here at Gateway. So we have a little park and recreation project proposal for the dog park, soccer complex as well. Okay, here we go. Gateway Dog Park background, 2019-2020 capital improvement plan is $35,000 budgeted for the dog park. Quoted, currently we have $15,626.62 for installation of 4 10x12 concrete pads. And, excuse me,